I haven't done a sewing project for a while, and I need a new pair of pocket hoops. So my book, Corsets and Crinolines, happens to have a pattern for doing a pair. So I got excited and got a start. So from the pattern, here it is cut out, and I have already put in the channels using bias tape to put the hoop part in. There's the bottom, there's the inside, and I've already cut. I'm using, these are actually giant zip ties. You can sort of see the ribs on it and everything. And the ends are awfully sharp, so I just melted them down. And yeah, it's not a thing of beauty, but you know what? It's not going to matter because it's going to be inside the pocket hoop. So there are actually no instructions to go with that pattern, but just figuring it out, I got that. This is the bottom. I'm going to fit the long piece to the around the curve. Fitting this curve from the bottom piece to this edge is a little bit terrifying because I didn't give myself a lot of room to maneuver. So I didn't think this through. I kind of like to keep the seam on the inside, but that means that now my edges are going to be on the outside. The bones are going to be on the outside. Not sure it matters, so I think I'm just going to keep running with this. But I'm going to have to put the bones inside the casing now before I put the square piece on the back side, because that's what's going to keep them contained. This is going to be tricky. I wasn't sure these were going to be strong enough, but considering how much it's pushing them outwards, I think that's going to work just dandy. Well, this is mostly working pretty well, except for the fact that I cut them all too long. So I'm going to have to trim all of these down and remelt the edges. But other than that, so far so good. And then, just to keep the edges from being quite so sharp, just have to melt them down a little bit. So now I have the bottom with the sides with all of the bones in it. And this now gets to have the sides forced into a square and sewn to this. This is going to be fun. And here we are with the outside. And here's the square that we just added. Now I get to flip it right side out so that all of the raw edges are to the inside. Next, I I should have slit on the pattern, it's slit all the way down to the hoop. So I need to slice that open a bit more. And I'm going to finish that edge because that's just a raw cut. I think that these kinds of hems are called like handkerchief hem or a handkerchief roll, but it's as tight as you can, tiny as you can possibly make it. So the top of these need to be pleated down to 3 1/4 inch, which I have now done. So now what I need to do is have a way to attach these to the bias tape, or I'm going to use. But what I've decided to do is take a piece and make a casing so that will encase the edge, casing encased right, and then I can have the entire tape as a drawstring. There's just a lot of ironing involved in sewing. So each one of these, I get to turn under just a tiny bit on both ends, and then I will fold that in half, and that is what we'll sew along the pocket hoop. So I've got it pinned on the front, and I've got it pinned on the underside so that it's nice and even. Just have to run 4 of these through the sewing machine and then grab my twill tape. And the last step, feeding the twill tape through my new little casings. So here I am. I have on my stockings with my leather belt garters, and my chemise and my stays
And now I get to add the pocket hoops. They're very simple. You just tie the twill tape around your waist and settle them in position. Now I do having them on the drawstring, it means I can adjust them as needed or lend them out to other people. Now, funny thing with pocket hoops, you have to put stuff in them. I mean, these are huge as pockets. So, but if you don't put anything in them, the weight from your dress will collapse them up. So you have to use the pockets as pockets, or you're going to have trouble with them staying in place.